What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now today we're actually going to be playing some World at War gameplay, rocking the PPSH. God, what a throwback, man. This right here is definitely in my top 3 favorite Call of Duty games, especially people who've been watching me for a long time. Everybody knows I love World at War. It's so iconic, probably one of the best World War II games I've ever played, not just with the campaign, but with multiplayer as well. It's just phenomenal. Probably one of the best games Treyarch has ever pushed out. And I mean, that is debatable. A lot of people love BO2, but just from my personal preference, you know, not the mass majority agrees with me, but like I said, just from my personal preference, I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be discussing the future of FPS gaming. Now, in the title, I went ahead and put down Call of Duty and Battlefield. The only reason I put those two down is because those games are probably the most personal to me. So if those games get destroyed, and I think a lot of people who do watch my content as well, the majority of the games that you guys play are Battlefield and Call of Duty, so if this happens in the future, then a lot of all of our experiences, everybody who shares the same love for this channel and the passion for these games, we won't be having very much fun. Now, this also goes for other games, though. Like I said, just because I put COD and Battlefield down does not mean this isn't happening for everything. Whatever the popular game, whatever the popular meta is right now, is going to be just completely destroyed with how the current generation is handling gaming. So if it's Fortnite you love, Apex Legends you love, even just any other casual game out there, the future for your titles are going to get a lot more sweatier. And I know I just made a commentary about skill-based matchmaking, which is a prime cause to why the games are so sweaty. I 110% agree with that, but it's also the player base that makes it sweaty. Now, Battlefield and other games like that do not have it this bad yet. I gotta say, there are a few sweats every once in a while when you play a Battlefield game, maybe 2 or 3 on each team, but it doesn't really matter because the vast majority of the people who are already in the Battlefield game, it's like 32 plus people for each team, so, you know, it doesn't really matter. There's still 30 players. They're just going to be casually running around and having a good time. So the sweat is kind of factored out in Battlefield. But in the future, if Battlefield 2042 actually pops off, if it gains a lot of support, if it is one of the next up best FPS games to be released, which I'm hoping it will be, then it's going to cause a lot of hype. It's going to get a lot of attention, and a lot of players are going to be looking at that game to specifically grind, get better at, and probably following the path of other YouTubers, Twitch streamers, and stuff like that who are professionals or something of that sort, and they're going to try to copy, mimic them, copy their classes, meta, this, that, and I don't know, I feel like Battlefield 2042 might be in trouble if it does pop off the way that we all want it to. You see, when I grew up playing games weren't about sweating. You know, I don't even remember the term sweating or anything of that sort. It just wasn't really a thing. When I hopped on any video game, and I was a very hardcore FPS guy, so when I hopped on video games back in the day when I was younger, I'm talking about games like Call of Duty or other FPS titles. Nobody was really competing, and actually at the time, what I remember doing the most is looking up YouTube videos and stuff like that for glitch spots and, you know, little areas that you can jump outside the map. We played a lot of private matches, even though we had full access back in the day with PlayStation 3, and even before that with other consoles. You know, you didn't really pay for any of this nonsense, and, you know, multiplayer wasn't even that big of a thing way back then. But right now I'm talking about my specific childhood. I can't really relate to everybody because, you know, I'm 23, so my childhood's a lot different than other people's childhoods. But I'm just trying to give my own personal experience. But when I used to play these games, Call of Duty, like Call of Duty 4, World at War, all these other past experiences, we had full access to online. It wasn't like that we couldn't do it. We loved playing online. But at the same time, we enjoyed hopping into private matches and messing around, finding out rocket jump spots. You know, there's so many unique and fun, interesting things in all of these games that just did not cause anybody to sweat. More people play casually, and like I said in yesterday's video as well, I mentioned this as well, is that people used to just be toxic. You know, noob tubes, claymores, using really obnoxious things. That's not sweaty. It's annoying. You know, I don't really like it. I hate it. Those people pissed me off, but it wasn't sweating, right? It was just someone messing around, enjoying the game, abusing the cheese of the title. Gaming was about having fun. At the end of the day, nobody was competing. Nobody was out here grinding for teams to win hundreds of thousands of dollars. No, people bought these games to have fun. And the developers knew this as well. That's why the developers designed the games around these fun aspects. That's why you could bazooka jump and find all these glitch spots in the maps. They could probably easily patch all that stuff, but they left it in the game. These are fun little unique things that made these games unique and fun. It allowed them to stand out from the rest of the crowd. But as you guys can obviously see, as time has moved on and the competitive scene for Call of Duty has really branched out and become a really big thing. Also, YouTubers have popped up everywhere. You know, YouTube content is a really big deal nowadays. And I don't mind a lot of the commentary channels. That's why I watched a lot back in the day when it came to Call of Duty 4 along with the glitch spots. You know, that's nothing really too annoying. But when it comes down to people, you know, dissecting the game and trying to find the meta and enforce the meta and really prove that the meta is OP, that's what brings the player base to becoming so sweaty, because they see these people popping off, they see the weapon they're using every single game, every single day, and they all want to mimic that too, which means that they're going to use the same weapon every single game, every single day. But not only are there Twitch streamers and YouTubers coming up into the scene, but the developers also see all of this stuff. They see where the direction of their game is going. And because of this, they are designing their game around that direction. No longer do they have a bunch of fun, quirky little things going on in these maps that we can all explore. People don't want to go into private matches and see what's going on in the game. Nobody wants to look for Easter eggs besides the zombies community, which is understandable, but multiplayer, campaign, nobody's looking for Easter eggs or anything fun and enjoyable in the game because the designers barely even put any effort into making sure it's there. I guarantee over half the stuff that we could do in Call of Duty 4 and Call of Duty 5 and, you know, get ourselves on top of the biggest buildings in the games that you can't do in a public match because people will just shoot you while you're trying to do it. But you can hop in a private match where nobody's around. You can just sit there and try to, you know, wiggle your way, finesse your way up. All those fun little things that were in these games are gone because the developers see that the game is becoming more competitive, which means their whole design plan is around competitive play. So there's nothing fun anymore. The only thing that you can do in this game that's fun is sweat your butt off because that's how the games are designed. And not only are the designers a big factor to why the future of gaming is in trouble, but also it's the upcoming generation. The reason that the designers are making the game it is because of the way the player base plays it. If the player base played like they did back in the day with Call of Duty 4 and World at War, they probably wouldn't design all these sweaty obstacles that we have to go around. They'll probably make the games exactly like they were back in the day. But because the community is evolving, because esports is becoming the next best thing, and there's so many people that are just indulging in the competitive side, and all the sweaty players on Twitch and on YouTube making the best class setups, that is the direction that the developers are taking. And the next upcoming generation is just as sweaty as the generation that I grew up with that was pushing forth this competitive side of gaming, which to me personally is not a good thing. Like I said, the future of Call of Duty and potentially Battlefield, again, if this game pops off, if Battlefield ever becomes a little bit more competitive, or people see it as a much more pub-stompy game, the developers, I guarantee the developers for Battlefield are going to do the same thing as Call of Duty. Now, do I see it coming in the near future? Probably not, because Battlefield is still Battlefield. You know, it has a nice ring and touch to it, a nice unique vibe that, you know, just doesn't really work too well with esports, which is why I feel like that's why they're still not really, you know, pushing their way in there. So I'm not too worried about it right now, but it could happen in the future. It's possible. But right now, in this current moment, there is hundreds of thousands of young children out there, tons of the youth, just straight vibing to competitive Fortnite, Apex Legends, competitive Call of Duty, following the actual esport league, knowing competitive players. Like, I'm being serious with you. You think I'm joking around? No, these kids who probably aren't old enough to be playing any of these titles actually know all of these competitive players. They know who they are. They watch their gameplay all the time. They know what's going on, and they strive and grind to become better. They get pissed off when they lose their gunfights, when they lose a match. They want to become better. They're sweats. They're little sweats. The next generation. The next generation of gamers are little sweats that are coming into the Call of Duty scene and potentially the Battlefield scene. It's not good. It's not good because, again, this only means that the developers are going to keep enforcing and pushing a more esports style of their game instead of just making a game solely around fun. I miss those days. That's why World at War, to me personally, ranks so high, because not only was it a really good World War II shooter, and not only did it have a really good, you know, multiplayer side too, and I believe the competitive side for World at War was great as well. All around, it's a phenomenal game, but without competitive, you can still have fun. You could hop into a private match, look up a few videos or, you know, ideas to do things in Call of Duty World at War, and you can spend hours just exploring the maps themselves. Each and every map has unique and interesting things you could do around. You can't do that anymore. You cannot do that anymore. I mean, Modern Warfare 2019, as much hate as I give it, I gotta say, they did pretty good when it came to, you know, the movement and the actual variety in the maps. The maps are trash, in my opinion, but there was variety in them. You could do so many things, explore so many locations. There's so many moves and entrance points to a certain building. It might look like there's only 2 ways to get into a building, but more than likely there's 4 or 5 that you can get in there if you think hard enough. I miss those days. I just wish they could implement that into a better game. That's all I want, but we're probably never going to see that because, once again, like I said, the current generation and the upcoming generation are just sweat lords, and I don't see anything getting better. But guys, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like button. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Also, if you're brand new and you enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. Also, if you want to chat with me, there's 2 ways to do so. I have a Twitter and Discord. Both those links are down in the description. And also, if you want to catch me live stream some video games, I do that over on Twitch. Link to that is in the description as well. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you all on the next one. Peace out.